How are you doing today? You're most welcome to another exciting review of The Rules of Wealth by Richard Templar. And in today's review, we are going to examine Rule 81 to 85. We are going to, learn how to know your style when it comes to investing, when it comes to accumulating wealth. You need to know your style. We're also going to learn why you should be able to read a balance sheet and how you can read a balance sheet and how to be ahead of tax collectors, how to make your assets work for you. And lastly, you will learn never to believe that you are paid what you're worth. Nobody can actually pay you what you're worth if you know your worth. So let's go to Rule 81. Know your own style. Many of us want to be wealthy. Many of us want to do well financially. But do you know your style when it comes to investing? Joy, please close this door. When it comes to investing, you need to know your style. Thank you, Mr. Dekunle. Right. Don't follow the crowd. Don't allow your emotions and your personality to get in the way. Your style, please close the door. Thank you. Your style may be different from mine when it comes to investing. Everybody may have the same goal, but we have different ways of getting there. There are times that some people take advice, maybe from the internet, verbatim. You just take it and you apply it. No, there are different approaches to investing. So you really must know what works for you. The fact that somebody says it and it works for that person does not mean that it is going to work for you. So what are the different kinds of investors that we have? In this, you really have to be honest with yourself. I'm going to talk about three based on this book. Number one are the ones that are very, very competitive. They really want to make a lot of money. So they start out early in life, learning how to invest, what to invest in, and all of that. It is a good thing. So they are likely to make a lot of money. But the downside is that they may become overconfident and then lose along the line. They may make some big financial mistakes. So if you know that that is the kind of investor that you are, you really need to calm down. No matter what you know, keep learning. Don't allow overconfidence to make you make any big financial error, to the point that you seek vain gains, profits that may make you lose your hard-earned money. So you really need to be careful. You really need a wise approach and always listen to people. Don't ever think that you know it all. Then there are some people who are not really sure about what they want. They don't know what to invest in. So for those people, if you are one of them, you may seek the help of an advisor, somebody that will guide you, but make sure that the person has no selfish interest. There are some people that can guide you even without you paying them. There are some books that you can read. Yes, you may not even need anybody. Sometimes you just need to do your own research and pause and pray and seek counsel. Don't gamble into anything. We have already learned from this same book, The Rules of Wealth, that if you are not sure about an investment, if you don't trust a particular company, or you are not too sure about a particular business, don't dabble into it. Right. So getting the help of an advisor can help you to decide on what to invest in, or doing your own research, or reading around it, or taking your time to analyze whatever you need to analyze. But people like this usually don't make a lot of money because they are so reluctant, and by the time they wake up, the opportunities may have gone. And there are some investors that don't prepare themselves well. These are like the third category. They don't prepare themselves very well. They invest too little, or too late, or too early. They allow their emotions, their feelings to get in the way. They are moved by the crowd or what people say. They just run by their first instinct. Oh, that business is good. They rush there. Sometimes they put all their eggs in one basket. Sometimes they don't even know how to let go of a particular investment that is not doing so well. Right. But generally, there are some things that can derail people on their financial journey. Some of us experience optimism. We are too eager and so we may make mistakes. There are also overcautiousness. You are too careful, and so opportunities are passing by. You are being too careful. You don't want to lose your money, so you are not making any move. And when you eventually do, people have really packed most of the gains. Competitiveness, impatience, fear, desperation, and all of this can easily sway you if you are not careful. But you really need to remember that every time you delay, you are delaying your retirement plan, you are delaying your house, you are delaying your luxury holiday, you are delaying your kids' inheritance, you are gambling with your future. Right. Every time you hold back, every time you become too fearful, every time you become too cautious, and every time you don't do your research well, you're actually gambling with that dream life that you desire. You are gambling with the beautiful life that you can give your children. You are gambling with a beautiful, retirement that you are likely to have. Right. So take calculated risks. There is nothing that does not have risks. That is the truth. Every day you even leave your house to go to work, you're taking a risk. Every time you pick a spoon of food to eat, it's a risk. What if it goes down the wrong path? Every time you leave your house to go anywhere, it is a risk. You don't know what is going to happen. Right. Just this evening before I came on here, I heard the news on Arise that one of their staff was killed today by armed robbers. She was just 30 years old, She left her house to go to work and then lost her life in the process. So everything in life is a risk. So why do you become so cautious, so fearful when it comes to wealth building? Right. You just have to pray about it. Do your research, your due diligence, ask questions, and then once you're sure, make a move. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You must know the kind of investor that you are. Know when to quit, know when to put your money. Just know yourself. Know yourself. That is what this is talking about. Don't allow anybody to sweet talk you into what your instinct is telling you is wrong, or into what you yourself know that is clearly wrong, or that will not work for you on a good day. Now, Rule 82 says, know why you should be able to read a balance sheet and how. What is a balance sheet? A balance sheet is a sheet, in simple terms, that contains the profit and loss, the expenses, everything, all the financial statements about a particular company or a business. It is not just about profit and loss, how much a company makes, how much do they lose. No, it is beyond that. It gives you details. For example, a company has a turnover of 1 million naira and then they are owing 500,000. So naturally you think that, they've made a profit of 500,000. But if you go through the balance sheet, you may see that they are owing 5 million naira somewhere. You may see that they may be owing their staff. You may say, so in the long run, there is no 500,000 naira profit anywhere. They are running at a loss. They are bankrupt. Right. So anytime you want to invest in a company, if possible, in fact, ask, what about the balance sheet? How is the company doing so far? You need to know the health, the financial health of the company. It is really going to help you. A balance sheet has to balance. Don't just look at things in the face value. So the basic formula you need to know is assets minus liabilities equal equity. A minus B equals C. Right. So for you to know whether the balance sheet is balancing, the asset must be greater than the liabilities. What they own must be bigger than what they owe. That is when you know if a company or a business is financially ahead. Not just, they made this profit, this is their turnover, this is their profit. They are doing so well on the outside. Right. So those are some of the things you need to know. And you also need to do this for your own business, even your own personal life. If your liabilities are more than your assets, then you're financially wrong. Not only when you want to invest, be doing this from time to time. How much are you owing? You may be collecting 2 million naira salary, but maybe you are servicing a loan of 1.5 million every single month. You only have 500,000. Out of that 500,000, you are going to pay your bills. Expenses are there, cost of fuel and everything. At the end of the month, you have to borrow more money. So you are not earning well. You are earning well, but you are not managing your money wisely. So you are not ahead financially. Somebody who is earning 100,000 naira may be doing better than you financially. So it is not how much money you have at hand. but how much money you are able to keep that is yours, that you can bank on. That is what tells you whether you're doing well financially. So there are some things that you need to look at. What you own, what are your assets? Do you have stocks? Do you have, any property anywhere? Are you receiving any rental income? Do you have equipment and things like that? Do you have products? You must also consider what you owe. What are your liabilities? You are owing the bank, you are owing people, your creditors are there. Then you must know what you are worth. By the time you deduct your liabilities from your assets, what is left is what you are worth. That is your real worth. So if your worth is so small or is non-existent, then you really need to make a change, right? Now let's move to rule 83. Be one step ahead of your tax collector. Be one step, Jeremiah, Joy. Be one step ahead of your tax collector. If you are doing business or you are a 9-to-5 worker, you need to stay abreast of tax issues. Don't be caught off guard, right? Especially if you have a business. Now, you must never try to evade paying your taxes. Don't even try it. It is going to be hanging on your neck, and I can tell you this for free. If you don't know how to go about your tax issues, you had better employ somebody, maybe on a contract or pay as you go or something like that. That will help you to look at your books. That will help you to balance your sheets. That will make sure that you are not evading taxes, because you may think that you're getting away with it, but one day the long and brutal arm of the law is going to catch up with you and be owing a lot. There are so many companies that are owing taxes, huge amounts of taxes, right? That is also one thing you will discover from the balance sheets, right? So now there are differences, or there is a difference between evading tax and avoiding tax. Don't try to evade tax, but you can try to avoid tax. How do you avoid tax? By being very careful. We're going to learn a bit of it. So to evade tax is to try to not pay tax at all. You know that you're supposed to pay tax, but you're running away from it. You are hiding. You are cutting corners. That is a criminal act. But to avoid tax is to be wise, to be tax wise, to make sure that you're doing those things that will not allow you to overpay tax, because the tax collectors don't mind collecting all your money. If you are not wise, if you don't know what you are doing, they will keep bringing up things, different kinds of taxes. They will quote all kinds of figures for you. So if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to pay. At the end of the day, you think that your business is not making profit. You are making profit, but you're overpaying tax. You're not keeping good records. You don't know what to do so that you can pay as little tax as possible that will not negatively impact on your business. And the more money you make, the greater the need to avoid tax, to be tax wise. It becomes complex as you go on. Rules. This is why you may need some professionals to help you interpret these things. You'll be trying to not pay so much, save money. You want to do it yourself, but in the long run, you may see that you're not able to do it yourself. You're actually paying more, right? So what are some of the things you need to consider if you don't want to be overpaying taxes? Consider establishing a limited company. If you already have, what you're operating is just a business name, an enterprise, consider upgrading to a limited liability company. Your company will have limited at the back, or like the Agbaje Limited, or Paseda Kolawole Nigeria Limited, or something like that. Once it has limited, that is a limited liability company, and you have several options. There are some tax laws that will favor you. In fact, there's a tax law now in Nigeria. I think it has not yet been signed, but when it becomes effective, a lot of people are still trying to study it, including me, right? When it becomes very effective, it will favor limited liability companies a lot, right? So these are some of the things that you need to consider, even if you are self-employed, even if it is a one-man business, try and upgrade, right? Then always make sure you make full use of your allowances. Use them or lose them. You have your holiday allowance, you have your upkeep, you have your lunch allowance and everything. Do it, use it. And as this money is leaving your account, make sure that you reference it well. There must be narration, because when your books are checked, the expenses made from the company will not be taxed. But if you don't reference your transactions very well, money is going out, money is coming in, let there be proper description. As a business person, you cannot just allow money to be coming in and going out without proper description, so that your expenses will be separated from your actual income. Right. Then always consider if something is tax deductible before you buy it. Become a resident in a tax haven. If you see any place where they're talking about tax, enlightening you, making you knowledgeable, you know, you have to be keen and curious to learn. Then invest heavily in your own pension fund. It grows tax-free. Even if you own your business, be bringing money into, sending money to your pension fund, your retirement plan. Right. There are some people who move from country to country so that they will not pay tax. It works for some, it doesn't work for some, depending on the kind of residency that you have. Then, of course, make sure you are well up on investment that you don't have to pay tax on. Get good advice and be willing to pay for good advice. I know that there are some tax professionals that may want to cheat you, that may want to rip you off. That is why you two have to be knowledgeable in a way, no matter how little. See, if you don't know something about something, if you don't know anything about something at all, that is when somebody can cheat you. But even if you don't know the nitty-gritty, try and gain some knowledge. You to have an idea. Don't just don't just stand aloof and say, well, I'll hand it over for them to do. Anybody can cheat you if they know that you don't know something, right? So even if you will get a tax professional, make sure that you also have an idea. You are not a novice. Rule 84 says asset, but these assets are lying fallow. Asset that you can be using to generate money. Do you know that even a ladder, if you have a ladder at home, you can use it to make money. It is an asset. Sometimes you think of assets as just the landed property, the houses, the cars, you know, the jewelry and all of those things. No. It's not only that. Look within and look into your house. There are some things that you have that can be making you money from time to time. Let's look at a few of them. But before we look at that, there are two kinds of assets: fixed assets, right, or long-term assets, otherwise known as fixed assets, and short-term assets, otherwise known as current assets. So the long-term or fixed assets are those ones that you cannot easily convert into cash, right? Maybe your long-term investment. Maybe you have a land somewhere now, or you have a house, a building. If you want to sell it today, you cannot get it. Let me not say you cannot. You may not get a buyer like the next day, right? But your current assets or your short-term assets, they can easily be converted to cash if you decide to give them up today. You know, maybe you have like a Toyota car. If you move around, you may see somebody that can buy it from you. Okay, right. So let's go through a list of some likely assets that you may have but you don't know. Property, land, motor vehicles, pension funds, cash, goodwill, works of art, antiques, investments, money owed. Somebody is owing you money. It is an asset. Furniture and other possessions. If you want to relocate today, you can sell your furniture. You make money. Patent, stocks and bonds, intellectual properties. If you have a business, it may also include things like stock, work in progress, raw materials, plant and machinery, equipment, trademarks, mailing lists, and all of these things. Even your your social media accounts is an asset. There are some people that build their social media accounts, they grow it, they have large following, and then they sell their page, right? They make money. So whatever, your intellectual property is an asset. What you know is an asset. There are so many assets that we have, but we underrate. Don't ever underrate anything. So this is a challenge for you. Before you sleep tonight, or if it's still daytime, before you sleep, Make sure you write out a list of the assets that you have, including the ones that are within you, including your intellectual property, including one music or one book that you have written somewhere that you have forgotten about, including that land that you have bought. You are waiting for development to come to that area and then sell it. Do you know that you can be renting it out in the meantime? You can use it for as parking space and be collecting money. You can use it as a storage place for some people. They can be keeping their things there. There are some tractor companies that can be keeping their vehicles and their machines there. You can rent it out. So don't underrate anything. Don't let an asset sit idle. If you own property, rent it out and not just buy to let. Yes, some enterprising people have rented garages or small bits of land. Right, think carefully. Then no asset is beautiful unless it is working for you. If you have it and it is redundant, then you're not making good use of your asset. It has to be accumulating, it has to be increasing in value, it has to be worth keeping. Then never leave cash sitting around. Stop leaving money on the table. There is something you can do. There is something you can teach. That knowledge is an asset. Monetize it. Right. If you leave cash sitting around, it tends to get bored and wander off. Make it work for you. Now, the last one, very quickly, don't ever believe you're only worth what you are being paid. Nobody can actually pay you what you're worth. That's the truth. Whatever money you are getting is just a compensation for your skills, your talents, and all of that. So have this mindset of always demanding what you're worth. Make a request. But before you do that, can you prove that you are worth what you're asking? Put in the work. Be proactive. Add value. Let people know that, oh, you're actually worth this. If you are working somewhere and they're not paying you well, you start putting in the work. You start positioning yourself as somebody who is worth much more. And then after a while, go and ask for, a pay raise. And it is not every time you ask for money. You can ask for free health care. You can ask for pension funds, retirement plan. You can ask for holiday opportunities. You can ask for a car. You don't have a car. The company can provide a car for you. You can ask for different kinds of benefits. Don't be rigid about money. Oh, increase my pay. There are other things that you can ask for, such that if you have them, it reduces your expenses, the expenses on your salary, right? The company takes care of them, right? So be very clear about what you're worth. Very, very, very clear. Before you pick up a job, know what you're worth and why. Know why you are worth it. Are you ready to work hard, to achieve more, to produce more, to get better results? Or now that you're already on the job, can you prove that you are worth this? Then don't bargain just money. I've said it. You can also bargain to work from home. You go to work Monday to Friday. Go to your manager and ask if you can come to work 2 times a week and work from home 3 times a week. These are some of the things you can bargain. At least it reduces your cost of transportation, your stress. You can sit in the comfort of your home and work. But make sure you put in the work, right, to justify that in case they grant you. And if you do get turned down, always find out why and what it is you could do to get what you ask for. Return after putting right whatever was wrong in the previous point. And never compare yourself with anyone else. You are unique and there is no need for comparison, right? So why settle for less when you can get more? That is the truth. Some people are so afraid. One skill that you need to learn is negotiation skill. You must be able to negotiate. Always negotiate. Don't be afraid. What is the worst that can happen? They will tell you, then go back to your drawing board. Go back and put in more work and then come back, right? But be proactive. Make sure that you can justify it. And if they increase your pay, make sure that you prove it. Don't let them regret giving you all of these benefits, right? And don't be stuck to a particular company. If you think that you can get a better deal somewhere, don't be afraid to move. Do your due diligence before you move, though. Make sure you secure something before you leave what is at hand, all right? But always know your worth. If you think you're always worth more, it makes you restless, ambitious, and keen to get on. You keep improving yourself. The more money you spend on yourself, your personal growth, your development, the more investment you make in yourself, the better anybody, any company will be willing to pay you. That's just the truth. All right, thank you so much. That'll be all for today. Don't forget to like this video, share your comments with me, and please subscribe to this channel in case you are yet to subscribe. I remain Olaide Agbaje, also known as First Lady, and on this channel, I inspire you to live intentionally. We'll come together again tomorrow by God's grace as we review Rule 86 to 95 rules. All right. Take good care and be intentional. Bye.